making the transactional system stronger so that we don't have these issues. So one, sometimes people charge, they do have their bank approve, they have to go back and recharge. Now that means it's pulling coins out of the system twice, and one will be pending, which will be expiring at some point, and the other one will actually be completed. How are you going to address that?
Well, Jan may speak about.
Hey, Jan.
Reminding them, we had several problems with wrong names, banned words. So some users had crypto on their name, and other words that banks don't like that. We have wrong account numbers, missing SWIFT numbers. So
when you're speaking about the...
we're actually improving.
So Ricardo, in that what you're speaking of would be with the SWIFT numbers and all that, that's talking about our withdrawals for commission, which we know some people had the wrong numbers, and that certainly does happen.
Yes.
Of course, when we jump into that, what we're all in agreement on is that we need to have emails which are sent on the withdrawals to document the withdrawal, because when we put it in now, we don't know where it's going to go. We need an email confirmation that says on this date you withdrew this and it's expected for payment on this date. We need a system in place where, right now it's pretty random, right? And so we need a system that basically should say, you should draw out on, let's say on a Friday, we shouldn't have to do this. It should be automatic. So it should be whatever is withdrawable should go into a withdrawable form on that Friday and paid on whatever day, how long it takes. So it's a regulated system, not a random system where we don't know, because it takes a burden on you and on us, right?
It's not random, and it's not on a set date. Every commission earned has a wait state of 14 days. So they will become available exactly 14 days after it is earned.
Okay, but what would be a better system? We're trying to say what would be a better system is that if you have a regular date for the commissions. So we can say on a Friday, whatever commissions you made until, let's say if it's Pacific Coast time or whatever time stamp you want it to be, that on that point, all the commissions go into your withdrawable, which then goes into this new card system or whatever it's going to be. We need it to be on a regular system because many people, we're leaders, we can handle it, but most of our people, they cannot. So we're recommending that this becomes regulated for a certain date. Do you see what I'm saying? Not that when I withdraw it 15 days later I get it. That doesn't work.
That's right. That's so good.
Believe me, for me it would be a lot easier to have a procedure that runs every week or every 3 days or something.
Okay, so I guess we'll all talk about that with George and Jim, and let's try to do that, because that would help everyone, I think, to have an expectation.
It was a business requirement that all the earnings will be real time. So as soon as they earn, they enter this queue, and we spend a lot of time developing this system as it is.
Well, we need a real-time system.
Actually,
I'm sorry, Ricardo, we need a real-time system showing the transactions in real time. 100%, you're right. That's very important. What we're talking about is a regulated system for the commissions to come out on a certain date, be paid by a certain date, so it's all the same for everyone, because we have a lot of people that are not sophisticated in our teams, and we're still only 20,000 members. We're about to double, triple out. What are we going to do then? We need a regular system that everyone can rely on. I know I want to see my commissions in real time. That's wonderful, you guys have that. But we also want to see that on this date, I know if I get in my commissions, I get my sales, whatever you want to call it, my affiliates are getting their coins, that then on this next date, I know on this Friday, every other Friday, whatever it might be, that I know I'm getting paid. And perhaps it's on a weekly basis with a lag time to begin with because of the way the credit card transactions go. But that's going to help us tremendously. And I'm just recommending, I think a lot of us are in agreement on that.
Yes.
Okay.
So if I could make something like that, every 15th and the last day of every month.
There you go.
I think we're fine with that, right?
Yeah.
As long as we know. That's perfect. As long as we know the dates, we're good. Then we can tell our people and everyone's happy and they see it come in, that's awesome. That way we don't have to think about it. We don't have to get the phone calls that we're getting from people that can't find their commissions and don't know when they're showing up. So that would be excellent. Excellent, that's a solution right there. And the other one as well, now that we're talking, that's withdrawals, that's our commissions. So I think we're good with that. And now moving on to purchasing the coins. I mean, let's have a little bit.
Let me just ask you a question. Okay. Our issues is, because of some payments are made with credit card, we need to wait a period of time. What I can do is something like what you earn between the 1st and the 15th will be paid on the 30th. Will that work?
I mean, yeah, we understand that. We don't have a problem. What we want to do is make a standardized system because, Ricardo, our goal is to make this really easy for people as we grow because we don't have the bandwidth to take all the phone calls we're getting to help people. I mean, I'm sure you've seen a lot of my emails coming to you nonstop, and we just, as we grow, we can't do this way.
All payroll is lag time, huh?
All payroll is lag time. We're fine with that. We understand that. We can explain that to people, and everyone's going to be fine with that.
Yeah.
Because all payroll is lag time by 2 weeks. That's normal.
I'll take this issue to Jim, and we will probably figure something out here.
Right. So then let's talk about the other side. Let's talk about purchasing the coins.
What about the pending?
The pending. Well, that's what we just talked about. That has to do with pending, having a 2-week cycle, and that we would regulate on the 1st and the 15th so people would get paid on a bi-monthly basis, unless they can do a weekly basis, which is also possible with a lag. I think once we get the card, so Ricardo, once we get the prepaid card, I would say we should be able to get those commissions on a weekly basis put onto that card with the 2-week lag, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. That's what we would recommend. Whether it's on a Friday or whatever it is, but just so we have a regular system in place for that. And certainly, right now we don't have the card, and doing it on a bi-monthly basis I think works for everybody.
That's the question, when's the card coming?
Yeah, and that's the question, is the card when is that going to be implemented, the card?
I don't know exactly. We have to go ahead from the work, and we still couple of documentations from their behalf, so we have things done on our side, and I just need them to send me the documentation so we can implement everything end to end. I'm hoping to have that in the next week, but I can't promise you.
Okay, well that's great. I mean, in the next week, you're probably talking about 10 days, approximately about 10 days to in that range? Is that what we're seeing?
Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully. So then a couple of weeks. Okay, great. And then there will be a form online for people to apply for that card, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So that's great. And then on that note, what we're recommending as a team here and team leaders here, we want to have a help screen that basically is an information fact screen where we can have a QA screen that says, commonly asked questions, as in any other site would have. And under that, we'd like to have all of the issues addressed where people can click on those questions. And I think you mentioned, and maybe I didn't hear this right, it's a little difficult to hear you, but did you say you're going to have some kind of a blog, information blog, or was I just dreaming that? Because I think that would be good too.
Yes. Yeah, we have a blog that is already in place, and the initial content is being built. All the newsletters will appear on, and a few other communications. So it's a more full content, rich information-rich content.
Great. So and it's a little hard to hear. He's saying there's going to be a complete information system that's going to be implemented, correct, Ricardo? And that would have some kind of information blog. And so in that blog, is that a one-way blog, or is that one that people can post comments to help others, or how is that going to, how robust will that be?
The initial state will be one side only, so it will be an announcement blog, something like that.
So it'll be a blog that
we are planning building a forum so members can post questions and search for questions already.
So members
and we establish a two-way communication there.
Oh, great. Okay, so members, so Ricardo, see if I have this straight. You will have an information blog. Members can post questions. You'll have the QA, so it will be common asked questions. We'll already have answers.
Yeah.
We can have those questions. We can click on those questions and see below it the answers to those common questions. We will then also have an information forum blog for the members, so they can post a question, and then will other members be able to answer questions, or is that going to be a two-way kind of thing? Yes? Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
We as a team, we present on the forum, and the members can speak among each other.
So George, did you have something?
Mary, instead of building a blog, why don't we just use Telegram? That has a one-way channel and a two-way forum.
So there's a comment here about using Telegram as a solution, integrated solution into this?
The problem with Telegram is not searchable. If you don't have
Correct, we would give the link out.
content.
It's for privacy, they don't allow you to search it, so you have to give the link out to people.
Yeah, we have to
That's
give the
an
link.
email that we can send out, that he can send out to everybody.
Yeah, well, where are you at with this now? Is this already built and you're just testing it? That's my assumption based on what you're saying? On the forum?
It's not finished.
Use Telegram.
We're struggling a bit to have the team closed. I still have two. I'm still hiring. I have 2 open slots at this moment.
So you're expanding.
Finalizing on 2 new developers. So we have a lot of things in hand and not enough hands.
Okay, so you're expanding right now, your team, to handle.
Yes.
I see. May I ask then also how, on the back-end system that we've had these transactional issues with, everything from let's switch to when people want to buy the coins. I want to get back to that for a moment, because that has been a big issue for us in having to manage the affiliates. When people are purchasing, the issue that they have, of course, they have to get to their bank to make sure that that can go through. We need to have you put that on the transaction page, that they have to call their bank because it's an international charge, and tell them what they have to say. So if it's if it's TTP and Dubai or whatever it is, we need to know that so they can call the bank and say specifically that. And sometimes when people call their bank in the US, the bank will just say, oh, you got credit. They have to know what to say. You know, they have to say, I have an international charge. You have to put that script for them onto the transactional page. That should also be under the question and answer page, where they can say, how do I do a transaction? That should be spelled out very clearly. I can't stress that enough because that causes us a lot of time that we don't have, especially if we're going to expand this thing, and that's what we're talking about here today. Okay, so the other issue that we have is many times the transaction may go through, but then no coins show up. So that gets people scared too. That's why it's very important that you have an email when the transaction is done that goes back to people to say, here's the coins you purchased, here's the price, here's the timestamp, and this has gone through and it is being credited to your account. Now, whether or not on the interface it doesn't show up, but at least they have a transactional record of it. So then we can deal with that if that does happen, because it sounds like you got a few bugs in that back end causing that to occur at different times and we don't know why. Okay, do you have any comment on that, Ricardo?
Yes, we had some problems in December and in the beginning of January, and we are catching up to all this. So because we are in the background redoing the transactions that were already done, we didn't want the users to receive false emails. So this week, I don't know if Monday or Tuesday, but one of these days, users will start receiving an email whenever operations occur and a withdrawal is approved, or pretty much for every movement on the web.
Okay, and here's how one of the resolutions to that would be, here's one of the problems that we have, and if we can resolve it this way, it would really save us time. That is that they make the transaction, let's say it doesn't go through, Ricardo, let's say it goes into pending vortex, a pending that never gets resolved. We still need an email to go to the affiliate saying, you have attempted this charge and this charge, you have to do this again, right? Now, That's what's been happening, okay. But here's the issue, when it goes into pending and they buy it at a certain rate, depending on how fast the coin rate goes up, they expect to be able to buy it at that rate. Is there any resolution that we can have for people, let's say, a good example is the wire situation that we had recently. We have people who have tried to wire and then the bank was changed, and so those wires got kicked back. We need them to be able to purchase those, and 10% is not going to cut it. They need to have other ways of getting it at, if not the price, very close to the price they originally purchased at. What solutions can we do for that?
We have in place a function that is developed for Uniform, for people, that is able to retrieve any canceled or expired transaction and put it back in the system with the initial rate.
So, Ricardo, you're breaking up a little bit?
Has to be used carefully. So that's why it's not being fluently used at the moment, but it's ready and it can be used.
You can pull up an expired order.
Okay, so great. So you're saying you can pull up an expired order, reissue it at that same coin rate. That's what we need. That's the solution that is imperative for us, right? For our credibility with our affiliates. I got somebody ringing. Okay, so the next thing is on that then. Of course, we're backed up on the other aspect where sometimes in the transaction people are getting double charged, triple charged, and it is happening. So again, that comes back to how do we resolve that in the most seamless, hands-on method, a method that's automated so that we don't have to spend our time sending endless email tickets to you and know that you're swamped. So how can we resolve the issues of transactions which may have been doubled or people have been overcharged or these kinds of things? Do you have a separate center through payment that is actually robust enough to handle these? Or because they seem not to be getting handled?
Yeah.
Is that a Jan question?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to hear you.
Mary, we've got a different solution coming right now, so if you could, hopefully the phone call will come through clearer.
Oh, great.
So if you could,
We're going to be hooking you up in another way with the audio to get a better, clearer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.